Now we discuss about configuration in Laravel, configuration concept in Laravel. We are having different topics like introduction, environment configuration, accessing configuration values, configuration caching, debug mode, maintenance mode. Apart from these, we are having subtopics like environment variable types, retrieving environment configuration, determining the current environment, encrypting environment files. Let us see one by one the introduction part. All of the configuration files for the Laravel framework are stored in the config directory. These configuration files allow us to configure things like our database, connection information, our mail server information, as well as various other core configuration values such as our application time zone and encryption key, blah blah blah. So like this we are having config directory. If I want to get a quick overview of our application's configuration, drivers and environment via the about artisan command. So we will be using php artisan about. This command will give our application's configuration, drivers and environment information. If I want to only check the information of particular only environment, so we will give option --- only option. We will be using the environment option. php artisan about --- only equal to environment. So like this we will be using the option --- only. If I want to explore a specific configuration files values in detail, so we may use config:\show artisan command. So php artisan config show database. So like this we will be using the php artisan command. Environment configuration. Now we will see .env.example file, so which comes with Laravel installation as a default file, default environment file. So all these configuration will be copied into .env file. So we will be either renaming or copying into a .env file. So this .env file, Laravel's default .env file, contains some common configuration values, so that may differ based on whether our application is running locally or on a production web server. So lot of configuration information will be there in .env file. Environment file security. Our .env file should not be committed to our application's source control, since each developer or server using our application could require a different environment configuration. This would be a security risk in the event an intruder gains access to our source control repository, since any sensitive credentials would get exposed. So it is possible to encrypt our environment file using Laravel's built-in environment encryption. Encrypted environment files may be placed in source control safely. Additional environment files. So before loading our application's environment files, Laravel determines if an app_env environment variable has been externally provided, or if the --- CLI argument has been specified. So if so, the Laravel will attempt to load .env app underscore env file if it exists. If it does not exist, the default .env file will be loaded. So based on the environment, the particular environment app underscore env file will be loaded if it is available. So -env CLI argument has been specified. So if it does not exist, so the default .env file will be loaded as a default environment file. Environment variable types. So we will be having all variables in our .env files are typically parsed as strings. So some reserved values have been created to allow us to return a wider range of types from env function. True, false. So true will be .env file, and environment method value will be boolean true. So like that, if it is false, boolean false. So like this, the values will be there. So variable types will be there. If I want to define an environment variable with a value that contains spaces, so we may do so by enclosing the value in double quotes. App underscore name equal to my application. So we will be giving the application name, app underscore name, my application. Retrieving environment configuration. Once we have all the configuration details in .env file, so we can retrieve them by making use of env function, env method. So for example, I want to get the debug in configuration value. So we will be getting by making use of env function, env app underscore debug comma false. So we will be passing second parameter as a false. So the second value passed to the env function is the default value. So this value will be returned if no environment variable exists for the given key. Determining the current environment. $environment equal to, and the app facade we will be calling the environment method. So whether it is local environment or production environment or staging environments, whatever it may be. So whatever the configuration .env file contains, that environment, what kind of environment it will be. So it will return the value of that environment. App :environment function. App :environment of local. We can also supply the argument as a local, and also we will be supplying the different arguments of parameters like app :environment of local comma staging. So like this we will be using the app facade environment method in order to determine whether it can be a local or it can be a staging environment. The current application environment detection can be overridden by defining a server level app _env environment variable. Encrypting environment files. So we will be using artisan command called php artisan env encrypt, env:"encrypt. So like this we will be using the artisan command in order to encrypt environment file. So we want to specify a particular key whenever we do some encryption. So php artisan env:"encrypt --key equal to whatever the secret key is, so we will be providing. So like this we will be doing the encryption. By default, Laravel will use the AES 256 CBC cipher, so which requires a 32 character key. So the length of the key provided should match the key length required by the encryption cipher being used. So by passing ---- cipher options, so we will be achieving this one. So, and also we will be providing the environment with the option of --env. So whatever the encryption command is there, php artisan env encrypt. To that command we will be passing the option called -env equal to staging or local or production. So like this we will be passing the different options to the encrypt command. php artisan env :encrypt -env equal to staging. We can decrypt an environment file. Here we are decrypting environment file. So we may use the command called env decrypt. php artisan env :decrypt. So if I want to use a key, so we will be providing -key option. And also if I want to provide some cipher, so -cipher equal to AES-128-CPC. So like that we will be providing cipher option. If your application has multiple environment files, so such as .env and .env.staging, so we may specify the environment file that should be decrypted by providing the environment name. So php artisan env decrypt -env equal to staging. And also we will be using -force option in order to overwrite an existing environment file. So we may provide -force option to the decrypt command. So it will be like this: php artisan env decrypt -force. Accessing configuration values. So we will be using config facade, and on that we will be using get method in order to retrieve the configuration values like app.timezone. So config :get app.timezone. So like this we will be using the config facade. And also we can set some values at runtime, so by making use of config set method. Config :set app.timezone, so America by Chicago, like that. So we will be using the config set method. And also we will be using config helper method like this: app.timezone America by Chicago. So like this we will be using the either config facade set method, or we can also use config helper method. So we will be having different config methods like facade methods like string, integer, float, boolean, array. So within that we will be passing the config -key. So it will be like this: config string of config key, config integer, config key. So like this we will be having the different methods: string, integer, float, boolean, array methods on config facade. Configuration caching. To give our application a speed boost, so we should cache all of our configuration files into a single file using the config::cache artisan command. So this will combine all of the configuration options for our application into a single file, which can be quickly loaded by the framework. So php artisan config::cache command. And we have a command called php artisan config clear. So php artisan config cache command for caching. So to speed up our application, we will be using the command called php artisan config::cache. And after that we will be using clear command. So in order to clear all the configuration files, whatever the variables, if any unnecessary variable is there, so those will be cleared by making use of php artisan config::clear. and debug mode will be there. So config folder app.php debug option will be there, so which determines how much information about an error is actually displayed to the user. So by default this option is set to respect the value of the app underscore debug environment variable, which is stored in our .env file. So for local development we should set there will be an option called app underscore debug environment variable. So within the config folder app.php configuration file will be there, so which determines how much information about an error is actually displayed to the user. So this is a debugging information to see the whatever the if some error occurs, so we will be using this option in the .env file. So app underscore debug environment variable. So we will be setting this app underscore debug environment variable to true, so in our production environment. So this value should always be false. So because if all the errors are getting displayed, so the application is not in a proper way. So generally we use false option, and we will be setting the false to that app underscore debug environment variable. So if we want to check, if we want to see the information, debug information, or if any error occurs, so we will be utilizing this app underscore debug environment variable by setting it to true. So if we are setting to true means, so it will display all the debugging information. And we will see maintenance mode configuration values. So in the maintenance mode, so we will be using artisan commands like php artisan down -, refresh equal to 15. So if I want to set our web application in maintenance mode, suppose we are developing some application, we want to display 404 error or coming soon page, so like that. If you want to play some default page in maintenance mode, so we will be using php artisan down command to enable maintenance mode. To disable maintenance mode, we will be using the php artisan up command. And in down command, there are also multiple options are there, like php artisan down -, refresh equal to 15, whatever the number of seconds we want to mention, we will be mentioning all those seconds. php artisan down -, retry equal to 60 seconds. So if I want to convey to the end user, so that please retry after 60 seconds, so that we will be using command called php artisan down -, retry equal to 60. By passing maintenance mode, php artisan down -, secret equal to some particular secret option we will be providing by making use of -, secret option in the maintenance mode. php artisan down -, secret equal to the secret key. And if I want to generate the secret token, the previous one is a secret option, -, secret is an option. Now we want to generate some secret token. This is a very good difference. Much difference is there. Secret option and generating secret token with -secret option. So with secret option to that down command. It will be like this: php artisan down with secret. So like this the command will be there. So it will generate a secret token. Pre-rendering the maintenance mode view. So if I want to render some error page, so php artisan -render equal to errors :503. And if I want to redirect to particular page, we will be using php artisan down -redirect equal to /. Disabling maintenance mode, php artisan up command. So we have already discussed this. Disabling maintenance mode means php artisan up command. maintenance mode and queues. So whenever our application is in our maintenance mode, no queued jobs will be handled. If it is in maintenance mode, so we will be having the concepts like queuing, dispatching jobs. So a lot of things are there, task scheduling, all those will be in disabled mode, so they will not be handled. So these jobs will continue to be handled as a normal once the application is out of maintenance mode. So all those queued jobs will be handled once our application is out of maintenance mode. Alternatives to maintenance mode. Since maintenance mode requires our application to have several seconds of downtime, so consider like alternatives like Laravel Vapor and Envoy to accomplish zero downtime deployment with Laravel. So we will be using packages like Laravel Vapor and Envoy. So these are the alternatives to maintenance mode. So instead of maintaining the complete downtime, so we will be using alternatives as a Laravel Vapor or Envoy as a alternatives to the maintenance mode. So this is all about configuration concept in Laravel. So thank you so much. Thanks to all of my fans, followers, and a special thanks to all of my YouTube subscribers. Thank you so much. So this is all about configuration concept in Laravel.